Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library on this overcast but wonderful day. We have, in the last few days, had 45 mil of rain. So those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, you know that we've been really dry here in central Victoria, almost drought-like. And yes, we've had 45 mil of rain. So it's wonderful. So welcome to the Corner Library. We're very excited. Although I have to tell you all, I am rugged up. I have the fire going. You'll probably hear it crackling. And I have my hot water bottle, everyone. I have the last few days been feeling a little under the weather. Not quite a full-blown cold, but just rather headachy and a bit achy. So I'm trying to look after myself. I'm rugging myself up. Okay. For those of you who've just joined the channel, thank you very much for doing so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's for free, and it helps, eventually it will help the channel, and it also, I think by subscribing, it actually gives you updates as to when we upload the next video, or you have to press the notifications button, I think. But yes, it's free to do so, so please do if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you to all of you who have subscribed. And also for those of you who always like and comment and you share the channel, thank you very much. It all helps. Okay, this week has been busy. We have had Arthur. I don't know if you can see him. He is just sitting on the footstool. He had an operation earlier in the week on both ears. I say an operation, it was really a procedure. They flushed out both of his ears. They were rather, they were filled, poor boy, they were filled up with yeast infection. So the vets have flushed those out and medicated them. And then in about a week's time, I have to begin the next lot of medication. But he seems a little bit happier, thank goodness. And Rooney he's sitting in the chair opposite, asleep. He also had a procedure this week. I think I told you last week that he was a bit smelly in the mouth area. I strongly suspected it was either his teeth or he has a few skin folds under the jaw or around the jawline, and I suspected that there was a bit of an infection or something going on. The reason why I suspected and didn't actually know is because Rooney is a rehome. We've had him for a few years, but he does have his little quirks and foibles, as we all do, and he really does not like you touching his mouth. So I suspected that there was something going on when I could very quickly look at his mouth, but he would not allow me to inspect it properly. So we took him to the vet, and they had him under general anaesthetic actually, and they found that in the skin fold he did have a terrible infection. So they have shaved it and washed it out, and I now have a special medication that every day I just have to very quickly wash over the jawline, and it is quick, trust everyone, because he just will not allow you to fuss around his mouth much, and if you do, it escalates quite quickly, and it gets a bit nasty, so I have to be very quick. So that's that. And then Mark had a very small medical procedure this week, nothing too exciting or nasty, just a bit of a procedure, so that was good. We had that done, and then I went to Melbourne. I told you all last week that I was meeting a friend in Melbourne, and I was hoping to take you around to some bookshops. Well, I did take the camera. It was fully locked and loaded to go. But my friend and I were having such a good time, and we traversed the whole of Melbourne, I think, all around Melbourne. We went to Queen Victoria Market, or the Queen Vic as we call it here in Victoria. We had a look at some vegetables and some other delicatessen type foods and a cookbook shop. Then we walked closer into Melbourne, and we did actually go to a few bookshops there, but we were having such a good time I actually forgot to take the camera out. So I apologise, but I did buy a few books, and the intention is to go back. I'm going back on my own this week. I'm doing a task. Mark has asked me if I would take a pair of shoes of his in to be repaired. There is a wonderful repairer in Melbourne, and he wants a pair of his good shoes repaired. So knowing that I love going into Melbourne on the train, he has asked me to drop the shoes in for him, and I thought that was a good opportunity then to just walk around the bookshops myself. And I'm hoping then that I may be able to do a bit of filming. Because I'm on my own, I'll just be able to concentrate on you all, filming for you all, and not yapping to my girlfriend. We had a wonderful time. It was absolutely brilliant. But anyway, let's get into the books. Enough about this. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I hope you have either been keeping cool if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, or if you are like us and you've been desperate for rain, I hope you have had it. I know New South Wales over the last few weeks, New South Wales and Queensland, I think you've had some terrible thunderstorms and flooding. I hope you're all safe and well, and that it has now subsided and not cause too much of a problem. But we have enjoyed the rain, I have to say. It's been raining for days, and we have not, you can't get the smile off our faces. It's been wonderful. Okay, now, first thing first. The other day, when I was in Melbourne, I bought this. This is Veronica Henry's A Day at the Beach Hut. I read it on the train on the way home. Now, that sounds brilliant, doesn't it? It sounds as though I'm a very fast reader, but Veronica Henry has a series of The Beach Hut. There's a whole, the first one is called The Beach Hut, but I'll let you know the others. There's the Beach Hut Next Door. What are the other? Christmas at the Beach Hut, A Wedding at the Beach Hut. And there's quite a few of them. So there's a whole series. Now what it is, it's about a group of beach huts on the beach in England, and on the coast in England, and the various people who own those huts or who use those beach huts on their holidays. And we get we get a few short stories of those individuals, families who use the beach hut, and basically just a day in there, or a couple of days in the life of a few of these people. So they are short stories. This is a series of short stories of different people, but in some of the stories, their lives intertwine. So and then in this as well, you all think that I'm probably wonderful reading a 300-page book, but in actual fact, within a few hours, but in actual fact, they really are short stories. And then sorry everyone, and then in between we have some recipes that the author, excuse me, Veronica Henry suggests for days at the beach, and for picnics and drinks and things that you would have on a winter's day at the beach, or on a sunny day at the beach. So yeah, sorry everyone, I'm itchy again. That's ridiculous, isn't it? So in actual fact, there's a bit of reading, but it is interspersed with these wonderful recipes. So whilst I was reading it, I actually flicked through those onto the next story. The series, of course, each novel is full of the novel. The other novels do not have recipes, as far as I am aware. And yeah, they have these wonderful stories of all of these different characters and different families in their different beach huts, and how they interact and what their life is about. It is really it was such a pleasant read whilst I was on the train. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, I flicked past as you can see, there are quite a few, where are we? Oh, Pimped Porridge, Tropical Overnight Oats, Guacamole and soft-boiled egg on rye sourdough. There were quite a few recipes, so I was able to skip through those and read the short stories. It was brilliant. And sorry everyone. I really do recommend it. And the series I enjoyed it so much that I intend to buy the other novels in the series. This is just a day or a couple of days really at the Beach Hut location, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought they were fantastic. Just really comforting read, nothing too strenuous, a very easy, smooth read. Just really pleasant and uplifting. There are a couple of little things in there that, there are a couple of little worries and concerns, but they resolve, and it's a really pleasant read. Okay, I showed you this a few weeks ago. I bought this from Tea Leaves and Reads, and in the UK, it was delivered to me, what was it now, about a week and a bit ago, and I read it during the week. This is The Blackbirds of St Giles by Lila Kane. Now, Lila Kane is a pseudonym for two authors. Let me make sure I get their names for you so that I don't make a mistake. For Marsha Hutchinson and Kate Griffin. There they are there. Now this begins in the 1780s. 1782 it begins. Daniel and his sister Pearl are on a plantation in America. We begin the novel, it begins really well actually. We begin in a confused state. There is something going on at the plantation. We arrive in the middle of that, and even though it's well written and you're not confused, but when you begin reading, you think, oh, hang on, where are we here? This is really interesting. And then you realise Lila Kane tells you or reveals very quickly what is happening. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant way of starting a novel. And then it takes us to England. These are two they were slaves. Then they develop into a I don't want to say too much. I don't want to tell you the story. They evolve. They find themselves in England by various means. And there are some dastardly underhand things that go on, even as soon as they get to England. Of course, dark-coloured skin in the 17 and 1800s was quite, even though England were the first to abolish slavery, in the world, there was still that shock value of the expectation of the societal norms of depending on what colour skin you were, and your financial situation. This was brilliant. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. It has twists and turns, and sometimes you do get really angry. You think, oh, blow, they've really hit the hard times there, but absolutely fantastic. And it gives you that atmosphere of what it was like in the slums in England and along the docks, and also then in high society. I love this. Absolutely enjoyed it, and I recommend it. This is wonderful in the hardcover, and of course, we have the old maps of London at the time on the end papers. The hardcover is a beautiful green with gold embossing. But I think I said last week, the cover itself is beautiful. If you can see that there with the gold necklace and the chain, the silhouettes, the black silhouettes, which are really popular particularly in the Victorian times actually, but in the 1700s, I know Jane Austen, I think they have a silhouette of her sister in a pendant, her sister Cassandra. So yeah, and then we have the fan. This is a signed copy, by the way, which I will treasure, but definitely one to read. Okay, now the ones I bought the other day in Melbourne, these are really interesting and I'm very excited. So the first one is Angela Thirkell, Love Among the Ruins. This is, Angela Thirkell was English. She was born in the late 1800s and I think she died in the early 1960s, I think. Really popular in the 30s and 40s, 50s. She was English, but she was married twice actually. She came out to Australia with her second husband and had, I think, her third or fourth child out here, and then didn't stay very long, perhaps 9 or 10 years, and then I think she left her husband, from memory, I think she left her husband and then went back to England with the child that she had here in Australia, and she never came back to Australia. She is known as an English Australian writer. She did write one novel out here, but really she's British. And her stories are in the genre of sort of like that inspection and the recognition of society, but in a comedic way. So a little bit like Jane Austen, E.F. Benson with Map and Lucia, and E.M. Delafield. So if you enjoy their novels, you definitely will. If you haven't already, you will enjoy Angela Thirkell. I bought this one. This was on special at the Book Grocer, I think it was. But this is by VMC, and I think this one was first published in 1938, I think. 1930, something like that. 1937. I can't get it here. The copyright here is 1948, but I'm fairly... Oh, no, I'm wrong. It was first published in Great Britain in 1948. So, yeah, if you enjoy Jane Austen, Benson, Delafield, you will definitely enjoy Angela Thirkell. She has some great novels. And she's written quite a few as well. Gosh, it must be maybe 20 or 30, perhaps. This is set in 1947, this one, by the way, everyone. And it's around about 480 pages. But, yeah, I think she's written around about 20 or 30 novels all up. The other thing I wanted to tell you too, the Blackbirds of St. Giles. This is a... let me get the publisher for you, everyone. This is Simon & Schuster, and this was actually this year's, 2025. That's that one. And the Veronica Henry, I'm sure this was this year's as well. Let me just get this for you. No, fibs. It was 2021. This one, and it is Orion fiction. Okay, so that's those. Now this one I have not heard. This is a 2024 or I think it's 2024, and I think there's another one out in 2025. This is The Excitements by C.J. Ray. This also was on special. I think these were like $10 or something. This is Revenge is a Dish Best Served Old. The Excitements. This is set in This is the Meet the Williamson sisters, Britain's most treasured World War II veterans. Now in their 90s, Josephine and Penny are in demand, popping up in commemorative events all over the country. Despite their age, they're in great form, sprightly and sparky, and always in search of their next excitement. Now, I think this begins in 2022. Let me have a look. 2022 it begins, but we do go back and forth a bit, I think, because they reminisce. But that's another little mystery. I'm really excited. And as I say, there is a new one out. It won't say it in here, perhaps. But there is one this year, I think. No, it doesn't tell me. There is a new one this year. Okay, now, you all know that I absolutely love the British Library releases of the British crime classics, and they also have a women's classics that they republish. I love the crime classics. This is Big Ben Strikes 11. This is by David Magarshak. David Magarshak wrote in England, but I think he was originally from Latvia. I'm sure he was from Latvia, and he was Jewish. So he went to England. Now, let me just have a look when I think this was first published in the 30s. Let me have a look. This edition, of course, was published in 2023, but I'm fairly sure, yes, 1934. 1934 it was originally published. Now, this is Sir Robert Boniface, the industrial and financial tycoon and stalwart of the British cabinet, has been found shot dead in his blue limousine on a warm Friday evening in the Vale of Health, Hampstead Heath. Nearby, a rejected portrait of Sir Robert is found riddled with bullets in the studio of the now missing artist Matt Caldwell. And so we go on. And Inspector Beckett of Scotland Yard suspects murder. So I'm really looking forward to that one. This one is a selection of around about 15, I think, short stories from some really well-known authors. This is Blood on the Tracks, the Railway Mysteries. Of course, as you all know, I love my railway journeys, particularly steam trains. So I did have to buy these. These were not on special, by the way. These were just bought from Dimmicks. I bought them from. Now, there we have stories from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Robert Eustace, MacDonald Bodkin, Whitechurch, Freeman Wells Crofts, Dorothy Sayers, F. Tennyson Jesse, a whole 15 different authors. And this is all mysteries and murders on the railways. You know I love railways and mysteries, two of my best subjects, so I can't wait to get into those. Now, this one was also on special. This was in Dimmicks, I think. This is A Midwinter's Tale. It is based in at Christmas time, so I think I will read this at Christmas, even though Christmas is our summertime. This is a hardcover, everyone, and this is... It's nearly Christmas, and committed Londoner Mina Kessle is close to signing a deal that will make her career. Then a mysterious letter arrives along with an ancient key sent by her long-estranged godfather, Davy. Now, this is, I think this was last year. It might be a few years old. No, 2023. And this is by Sphere. I cannot wait. Let me have a look at the the end papers are just red. And the cover is just black with that gold embossed spine. But I can't wait to get into that. I'm very excited. Now, this was originally $45, and I think I bought this one for $9. So it's always worth going to the independent bookshops, but to their sales section. Now, I showed you earlier this year by Jill Johnson. I read and recommended Hell's Bells. This is the next one in the series, Devil's Breath. This was also on special. I think this was from the Book Grocer. Again, I think it was like $12. This is the second one in the series after Hell's Bells. We have the Professor of Botanical Toxicology, Eustacia Rose. She lives in London with her extensive collection of poisonous plants for company. and Murders Afoot. Now, this is the first one in the series, so I've actually bought them roundabout, but that doesn't matter. I really enjoyed Hell's Bells, and there was not a continuation, but of course, she didn't mention too much about Devil's Breath, but there was a small mention. So you knew that there was one in the series previously, and that was this. So I can't wait to read it. I think the cover is brilliant. I really love the cover. And yeah, I can't wait to get into that. So that's that. So that's all those books that I bought from Bookgrocer and Dimmock. Sorry everyone, the camera's turned off really of its own accord, so I apologise for that. You know I always like to do these in one take, so I'm really not too sure what happened there. The camera may be playing up because it is warm in the room, so I am going to bid you farewell. There's lots afoot, everyone. Over the coming months, there is a lot happening. I want you to be part of that. It's exciting. I can't tell you too much at the moment. You know, a little while ago, I said that I had a project, and this is part of that. I'm very excited, but I can't tell you yet. I don't want to tell you until all my ducks are in a row. But I'm excited. So please do keep watching. And of course, in the meantime, we will have lots of recommendations and lots more things to see and do on the channel when we go to bookshops and things. I haven't been on Australian Book Travels. I have not uploaded any videos there for the last 2 weeks. I have been extremely busy with other things, particularly with the books, and so I haven't been able to upload any videos for Australian Book Travels, which is the other channel we have. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this week's either, but do keep an eye out for that if you are interested in travelling around Australian towns. Then that is definitely a channel for you. But if you just love the books, then stick with us, everyone, because we've got some exciting things happening. And these are exciting novels. I really do enjoy the authors. I've read, previously in the series, a number of the books. There's new ones here that I haven't read before, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them, and I do recommend them. So that's it, everyone. I'm going to bid you farewell. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm all rugged up today. I'm feeling still a little bit off. I have quite a headache on me. So I'm going to just stay indoors, I think. I may go for a refreshing walk, rug up and go for a walk, and then sit by the fire for the rest of the day reading. There's nothing wrong with that. I hope you all enjoy your week, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care, everyone. Happy reading. Bye for now.